Today is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Suresh Nair.
We were talking about discrete base stations and discrete network functions. This kind of testing is not done by these regulatory bodies or even certification labs.
I wonder how the calendar looks like for you when you open up your calendar and there is a lot of meetings going on.
If the topic is interesting, I would say then you will enjoy.
Is there any particular requirements coming in from the cloud providers?
I think there are security concerns. Again, that will be controlled by the platforms, not by the operator or not by the container itself.
There is one school of thought which says that attackers are also getting smarter. I want to understand from the offensive side as well as from the defensive side. Hello everyone, welcome to Xecurity Pulse. Today is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Suresh Nair. He serves as the chair of the 3GPP Security Working Group SA3, where he plays a pivotal role in shaping the security architecture for 5G and beyond. He also serves as a principal standardization lead at Nokia, contributing to the development of secure and scalable network technologies across the globe. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Suresh. How are you?
Hello, Taha. Hello, everyone. I am doing fine. Happy to have you in your show.
Thank you. So the topic today we want to discuss is about telecom security standards. In particular, we will give you a view to how the legacy is doing versus where we are in terms of the 6G security run. How the AI machine learning is transforming telecom industry. As well, we will talk about like some of the motivation things about Mr. Suresh, how he ended up his career into this security world. So it will be an exciting show. So I can't wait to start. So we'll start with something like the questions which I often get from a lot of people. Standardization is not like usually the interesting topic. People say that if you want to read like 1,000 pages of document, slides and PDF, go to 3GPSA3, or to the standards world. So what is that motivation, Mr. Suresh, if you want to comment on that, which keeps you going every day and running this like groups and meetings, so we'll start from here.
Yeah, that's a interesting question, Taha. You see, I began my career as a developer, as a software developer for base station product. Now, when you develop something that goes into the product, and it is your product, and it goes into multiple customers, etc. But when you develop standards, then everyone in the world, particularly the 3GPP standards, it is adopted for implementation all over the world, and it gets used by people all over the world. So, in terms of the impact, I would say the standards has much more impact. And then, having realized that this is much more impactful work, I was really interested to continue this work once I started going there in 3GPP.
Nice. And I can witness that, Mr. Suresh. I still remember I was part of one of the SA3 meeting in Chicago, and that was my first meeting in the SA3 group. And I was amazed to see, the kind of engagement, the participation, everything was so organized, and the way you were leading all that, was really commendable. So I wonder what is the usual day looks like in your routine life, when you're not, let's say, working, or when you're not having those meetings. So can you walk us through one of your daily like routine days, how it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, during the non-meeting days, there is a lot of activity on the security features which we are working on. many multiple discussions, both within the company as well as outside the company with my colleagues in 3GPP, different the proposals, T-docs, etc., in preparation for the upcoming meeting or as a
Mhm.
follow-up from the past meetings, as in refinement or in terms of preparation for the next meeting. So multiple meetings. If there are uh, some points to be discussed and
Mhm.
refined, it needs a lot of preparation, and also you need to be on top of the topic, in the sense, in terms of the details to know, in terms of how the adaptability to the 3GPP protocols and algorithms, etc. So there are many things to learn before the meeting, after the meeting, etc. So before when we are not in the meeting, I would say, then I would say there is a lot of preparation. But during the meeting, there is, I mean, preparations are all done.
I see.
You
Yeah,
are
yeah,
on the meeting, and then
yeah.
it's like a clockwork during the meeting.
Nice, nice. And in terms of the team structure, do you have a can you give us some like some sense of the manpower involved in terms of like do you have like do you guys have like an army of like standardization leads or like few guys who just control this thing, or how does that work in terms of the organization structure?
Meaning within the company,
Yeah, yeah, within the company.
within
Yeah,
the company we have um, about 20, close to 20 people, looking at different aspects of the security whole domain. Some are researchers, some are delegates, some are back office people who look at in preparation for the next meetings, also look at what happened during the past meetings, etc. So prepare, and then help the delegates to prepare the contributions, etc.
got it, got it. And in
Yeah.
terms of the 3GBP SA3 group, if you look at the hierarchy, we have like the chair.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yes, in 3GPP we have the chair, and the chair also is supported by two vice chairs. And from EDC, where the meeting is all organized, then we have the MCC support also, to look at the all the meeting notes and maintain the portal, etc. And all that work is also provided by EDC.
nice, nice. I wonder how the calendar looks like for you when you open up your calendar and there is a lot of meetings going on, here and there. So,
Yes, yes. There are a
yeah.
lot of meetings, but yeah, but if the topic is interesting, I would say then you will enjoy. Meaning, I mean, if all the security topics are interesting to you, then it's a good profession, so that you will enjoy. And
Yeah,
again, I look it up as again as a very fruitful activity, in the sense it is not only me and my company who is benefiting it, but everyone in the world cares about or need to be cared about their security and privacy. So from
true,
that point
true.
of view, this is a significant work.
True, and there is also a point that you don't have to be very good technically. You have to be also good in man management. You have to be good influential in terms of how will you convince other parties to support you in your research work, right? So this is something which you also needs to have in terms of the skill set,
Yes,
right?
definitely. The time management, man management, or interactions, um, and the ability to deal with different topics, etc. It's all important. You need to have that. You cannot be just an expert in one field and expect to be a good chair or a good delegate in 3GPP.
Nice, nice. I I totally agree with you. So let's move on. So when I so basically we I kind of do a lot of research in the security operation as well. So I keep on like monitoring that, hey, how many 3G 4G networks are still live, so we have this search engine where we go and collect threat intelligence, and one of the practice is to see that how many IPs we can get from the system which are running on the legacy network. So I see there's still lots of regions who are heavily on 4G and IMS architecture. Uh,
Yes.
and then there is work going on for 6G, and there is standards coming in for different advanced technologies as well, such as artificial intelligence and machine learning. So I wonder, how does, let's say, 3GPP SA3 group prioritize the the new standards work versus maintaining the balance of something, if something is needed for the legacy architecture. How do you prioritize and balance this whole, like, both the worlds, I would say.
Yes, yes. So your observation on the legacy technologies are correct. Many of the legacy technologies, I mean, even right from 2G onwards, 2G, 3G, 4G, and now 5G, it still exists in the world, and we have to deal with it. So the and then in 3GPP we need to work on new technologies and standards for new technologies as well, like 6G.
Hmm.
So we have mechanisms to do that. In the sense, the if you look at the 3GPP meetings, we go by an agenda, and the agenda is create and the agenda consists of time allocation for the legacy work, meaning the legacy maintenance work,
Hmm. Hmm.
as
Hmm.
well as technically the specification development for new technologies like 5G or 6G. And the time allocation is basically is done using a agenda, and in the agenda we have specific time allocation, uh, particularly for new feature development. That itself is consisting of two phases, one study phase and another
Hmm.
normative phase. And the study phase is defined by a SID, meaning a study item description document that guides the main the objectives as well as the targets for the study. And then from the conclusions in the study, the normative work is taken up. And the normative work also is guided by a WID, meaning a, a work item description
Hmm.
document.
Hmm.
So the legacy work, maintenance of the legacy work through CRs, etc., that also has some time allocation. The SID phase as well as the WID phase, meaning normative work, also has definite time allocation.
I
So
see.
this
I
is
see.
decided before the meeting itself.
Got it. Got it. And talking about innovation and the speed of innovation, so we have seen GPT-1, and now I think we are about to see GPT-5 coming in, and there is a lot of
Yes.
speed and of the development that has been happening also in the cloud native space as well. So how do you see that? Are these new technologies are being too fast in terms of their evolution? uh, and if the standard bodies have to catch up to those, how do you kind of let's say, filter that, hey, which part of the technologies I should keep in while that technology still is a moving target?
Correct. So, if you look at SA3 or the other working group, 3GPP in within 3GPP, there is a lot more work coming up. Within
Mhm.
SA3 itself, you can see maybe say 5 years ago, our agenda was a small list.
Mhm.
Now the agenda list is up to about 28, 30 topics, and the number of participants also have grown up from say 50 to 60 to now 130, 140 regular attendees. So this
Hmm.
shows the importance of the working group, the topics which are getting discussed, and the relevance of the topics. So it is increasing, as you say. Now, can we catch up with the speed of innovation? That is something to be seen. We are trying to catch up, or it is uh, we are dealing with it, but I'm not sure whether it is good enough. Good enough in the sense, standardization takes time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Standardization
Hmm.
means everyone involved accepts a certain procedure or a certain way of procedure involving multiple agents like UE, base station, network elements, etc. So everyone need to come together. So this needs some proper discussion and agreement. So that part will definitely take some time, because it is not just one
Hmm.
solution, or the best solution rather, that
Hmm.
gets agreed. I would
Hmm.
say it is a technically feasible solution, agreeable by everyone,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
correct and which is secure, and that is what gets agreed, not the optimal solution
Got it. Got it.
possible.
Got it. So guys, anyone of you watching this one, if you have the best solution, which you think is the best, you have to convince others as well that this is really the best one, and this is how your management skills will come in. So, talking about AI, and the kind of AI security solutions we are seeing in the market, there is one school of thought which says that attackers are also getting smarter, right? So you have to come up with some defense measuring strategies as well, apart from evaluating the threat vectors first. So how does 3GPP SA3 is approaching the AI security? I want to understand from the offensive side as well as from the defensive side.
As well as as far as the protocols and the algorithms are concerned, there has been studies looking at the vulnerability of the algorithms
Hmm.
and also protocols. But so far, I would say nobody has claimed the existing algorithms, meaning particularly the 3GPP defined algorithms, AES 128 or
Hmm.
Zook or Snow. They are broken yet. That nobody has claimed. Also, if you look at the in addition to the protocols, there are randomness built into the protocol, so that it's not that easy to break. So in general, I would say even with the AI so far, the 3GPP defined algorithms, particularly the symmetric algorithms, they are safe. But looking at the AI evolution, I think we may need to fortify the protocols if these capabilities are getting expanded or evolved. Uh, but so far, the AI kind of work in 3GPP, particularly SA3, has been uh, on the point of how to what new to be done in support of the evolving AI features, meaning what is the support needed in terms of
Hmm.
AI.
Hmm.
Uh, because so far nothing has been, or nobody has claimed that they have
It's
broken,
been
they have managed to broken.
well said, well said.
Yeah.
There is, I was at a RSA conference last month, and
Yes.
there was a discussion going on between Anthropy, Meta, Microsoft, all those big enterprises. And I met an Anthropy CISO, because
Okay.
he was pushing a lot of frameworks, right? AI security frameworks, LLMs frameworks, all those things. And he mentioned quite an like interesting point that hey, we are also supporting telecom standards world as well. I was like, okay, So I met him and I asked him that hey, we have seen standards coming in, like the frameworks, I would say, coming in from different parts, like AI Iran Alliance coming up with their own standards, right?
Hmm.
We have Oran Alliance who are working with their own AI sort of things. Then there are governments which are pushing up their framework. So if I'm, let's say, a contributing member, of SA3 working group, right? And if I have my own framework in which I have, let's say, like, get a consensus of other communities, of other organizations as well. So how much do you think I stand a chance to push my framework and 3BPSA3 will accept it? Like, what is that secret recipe for you to evaluate the frameworks and to make an AI model which is standardized?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things here. In this sense, um, people are working on different models
Hmm.
in different domains. Say,
Hmm.
for example, between UE and the base station, for the radio beam optimization involving the parameters, etc. Um, that is on the RAN segment between UE and the base station. Will SA3 or 3GPP standardize such a model? I think so far in the discussions, people don't want to standardize it, but people want to enable the the data collection and also protect the mechanisms to enable and transport the data from wherever the training happens. Um, and also, when that happens, that there is no attack in the sense the model itself, and there is no poisoning attacks, etc., to that kind of a model, uh, that need to be ensured. So how that happens, that will be part of the 3GPP standardization. Model by itself, I am not very sure, because model by itself looks like a product. So maybe multiple vendors will be there to or maybe coming up with models like that in different domains. For example, for the RAN domain, also for the core network, different applications in the core, etc., and all that. But as you hinted, how the integrity of the model itself is ensured, um, how we prevent certain attacks, poisoning attacks, for example, and
Hmm.
nothing untoward happens to the network itself, meaning
Hmm.
the network doesn't do anything crazy. It
Hmm.
continues to behave in a way that it is very optimal for all users, etc. I
Hmm.
think those are some of the evolving challenges which need to be addressed. The AI itself in the core network or in the RAN as well as in the core, there are talks about the network functions becoming AI agents. Meaning
Hmm. Hmm.
instead of a state machine based implementation today, they evolve into, or this the whole base station or the NFs within the core network, they will be driven by data, workflow creation, and the whole agents taking care of this. In such situations, how do we ensure the integrity of the whole AI agents itself? Um, how how do we make sure that they don't do anything which is detrimental to the NF itself or not allowed? Because currently today this is all managed by state machines which are hard coded.
True, 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 true. So you mentioned 2 points, very interesting points. One is that you need some sort of a governance which say or which specifies how the model cannot be misbehaved.
Yes.
It should stay aligned to as per the expectations, right? And then there is another point which you said, that 3BPSA3 group uh, don't want to standardize any framework or like guiding principles like Tamil per se. So can you elaborate more on that? If we want to enable the governance that, hey, the network functions which are spin up by the data sets, are not there to be compromised. How would you ensure that without having a framework in place?
This is a new area which is coming up. I'm not very sure whether this 3GPP will do this, or this will be part of some regulatory requirements. In the sense, the integrity of the, say, current implementations, whether it is base station or any of the NFs in the core network, that is part of the regulatory requirements, also some of the certification bodies, etc. Whether these certification bodies will ensure that these, say, AI based agents will not behave, will behave as well as will not behave in
Hmm.
certain fashion,
Hmm.
that they will certify based on certain broad um, certification and testing guidelines, or it will be within 3GPP. I'm not sure. This discussion has not happened yet.
Got it. Got it. But it is, in my view, Mr. Suresh, what I'm thinking is, let's say if there is a governance framework which has been coming up by the regulators, right? This is how you need to, let's say, deploy agentic AI. Okay. And
Mhm.
this is how the network function needs to be spun up. Okay. Then, in order for the agents to work, they need some data. They need to
Yes,
have a training on that data, and they need to take certain actions based on some of the policies, right?
correct.
And for that to happen, they need to collect some data from the network functions, in order
Yes,
for themselves to train. So how much data is needed? Who has an access to those data sets? How that data will be exposed to other network functions, right? This is something which needs to be discussed.
yes. Yes,
Got it.
yes. So currently, so that's a new area, because so far this testing is not, or this kind of testing is not done by these regulatory bodies or even certification labs. So, as you said, the data sets may need to be standardized, as well as the conditions in which the agents tested need to be standardized and tested.
Got it. Got it. Moving on from the AI to my favorite topic, which is the cloud part. So we have seen, actually, this is just my observation.
Hmm.
Uh, we have seen, or in particular, like, I have seen, like, cloud providers have sort of hijacked the whole security and the deployment part of the telco network. So and there are a lot of security features which is coming in from the cloud providers, whether it's
True.
AWS or a Google Cloud or Microsoft one. So and they have certain like implementation requirements. Let's say, when an operator wants to do a public cloud deployment, they can use, let's say, watchdog agents and cloud watch, like, for the logging, and there is also a SIEM running in the back end, right? So is there
Yes.
any particular requirements coming in from the cloud providers that 3GPP has to follow or have to come up with some data sets to support their use cases?
You see, in 3GPP, particularly SA3, we had multiple study items to look at the security aspects of the virtualization and cloud and all that. But nothing much really happened in terms of specifications. In the sense, not much specification work happened. But at the same time, this virtualization as a platform, I think, even I would say rather slow, but it is picking up. Meaning, the core network is on the cloud. At least some part of it is in the cloud, as well as RAN cloud. The cloud RAN also is taking up. But some of the networks in US are purely on the cloud. But even tier one PLMN operators, I think some of their RAN will be running on the cloud. So it has its own advantage, and it is there is traction in deployment, and going forward, I think this will grow. But are there security concerns? I think there are security concerns, but again, this is a domain which 3GPP um, historically has not entered into, because before this virtualization and the cloud uh, came into being, we were talking about discrete base stations and discrete
Mhm.
network functions. So everything is contained, and it was much easier to manage by the vendor all the security aspects. Now, when a software product, particularly in containers, when it is going to be implemented or run on software or cloud platforms, the vendor, the container, the software product which is in the container, that may be self-contained, and the vendor may be able to uh, make sure that it is protected and integrity protected, etc., and all that. But the overall aspects of that, in the sense, the whole orchestration um, is managed by the cloud vendor, by the cloud platform. And if there are resources and resource constraints, etc., again, that will be controlled by the platforms, not by the operator or not by the container itself. So there are aspects outside of the container which are which are security significant, and also it need to be there to work as a single product. So the point I want to say is, whether this the platform providers, the container as a service providers, they can totally um, keep away from the security, I'm not very sure. But a link between that platform and the container platform today, I think it is not there, completely not there. Meaning some parts may be there, maybe in HC, NFV, etc. But I'm not sure how this link is going to happen. Without this link, I cannot say this will be completely secure either.
Yeah, true. And I totally agree with you. And there is also a point I want to share here. I'm part of this Cloud Security Alliance working group, which are working on the cellular security white papers. And
Mhm.
there is a good interest there because the cloud deployments usually have the federal and compliance part. If they're touching like U.S. nationals and U.S. officials, so there's a good interest by CISA and the Department of Defense of trying to control that part as well. So, uh, but as you said that there are concerns, there are risks, but how that risk would shape up in something which is a standardized requirement, that is something which is like yet to be seen. Uh, so talking about this, I give you let's do a quick experiment. So if 6G security would be in the hands of an AWS or a Google Cloud, what do you think? What would happen?
Hey, the hyperscalers, they try to um, grab, or I would say collocate everything together, and manage together. I'm not sure that that is going to fly, because there are particular domain expertise or application expertise needed, and one particular entity alone may not be able to handle uh, all the core network together.
True.
There may need to be multiple vendors, and when multiple vendors needed, of course, there need to be interworking interfaces, and again comes up with security for that, etc., and all that. So I'm not sure whether one party alone, whether it is AWS, Google alone, will win this race.
Got it.
I see multiple parties in this.
Got it, got it. And there is quite this security space is quite an interesting space. Actually,
Yes.
a lot of standardized bodies or even the private companies wants to have their hands dirty on this in this. And talking about uh, collaborations. So I mean, there are so many multiple groups coming in every week nowadays, and so how do you manage effective collaboration without the chaos? Like this is hard to
Yeah, I
hard to
mean, if
yeah.
you look at the standardization landscape, um, over the years, 3GPP has become the most, I would say, uh, most strong player defining end-to-end security. Bodies like, say, GSMA, it's mostly represented by operators and operator requirements and concerns. When they have specific requirements to be specified, they bring it to 3GPP. Similarly, ORAN has their own few interfaces, but mainly the interface between UE and the base station is defined by, and the interoperability of the UE from base station to base station, etc., is defined by 3GPP. ORAN has defined a few more interfaces within base station to manage the base station architecture and resources, etc. So we have mechanisms, 3GPP have mechanisms, basically lesson statements, requesting information or requesting support of some particular features, etc., periodically coming from all these bodies. So the mechanism for collaboration and exchange of information is through lesson statements.
Got it, got it. And what do you think? What is the best way if there's a small company which has a very good product, okay, and they have a very good suggestion and, a, and, a, and a good team, and if they want to, let's say, present something as a study in 3GPP SA3 group, let's say. So, what do you think? What are the best possible channels for them to be a part of this group?
Well, 3GPP is a very democratic organization. So anyone who has a product or a good product idea, I would say, may start coming to 3GPP, and if it is a security product, come to SA3 and participate in the discussion, and then propose your ideas. And then again, the study definition itself, it is involving all the parties. So the ball gets rolling from
Yeah,
there.
yeah, true, true. All right, great. So now getting into our last segment, there is a, I would like to know from you, like you have been in the center of this global collaboration, what is that one personal story or a moment that reminded you why this work matters?
Yeah, it's interesting question. The very first meeting I went to 3GPP and particularly SA3,
Mhm.
there was some contribution from Samsung and the Samsung delegate, and he won, or I completed my 2 terms as SA3 chair, and next meeting onwards, that delegate from SA3, which is Rajavel, is going to be the 3G, the SA3 chair next meeting onwards.
Uh,
So in that first meeting, I remember when so he had a contribution on, I don't know which feature it was. So we didn't like that feature. So during the coffee break, first day coffee break at 10:30, I walked up to him, introduced myself, and said that, Rajavel, by the way, we don't like this contribution from you. We are going to oppose this. So he had a funny smile on his face. Then he asked me, "How would you like to change this?" So before that, I didn't think, how should I change it. Now you look at, in one single stroke of a sentence, he put the ball into my court in saying
yes,
that,
yeah.
tell me how I can make it acceptable for you, so that what would you like to change this. So I don't know how we work together, but we did had some collaborative work on this, etc. But the point I wanted to say is this: anything you take it to 3GPP or SA3, this is what the normal course of work is. First, there is opposition. People wouldn't like it. Then you need to be proactive to collaborative work. Work together. work together to make it to something. And when
Yes,
you make
yes,
it to something, that gets adopted and gets deployed. And
yes.
that is the beauty of it.
True, true, true. I want to also share one of the stories. When I was working for Comcast, there is a group called Zero Trust Security where I was a part of. And before that, I was part of this ATES working group who was working on the Zero Trust study as well. So I know like lots of people from Ericsson, Nokia, Samsung, all those guys. And every time I presented some idea and gave a presentation. 80% of the guys rejected my proposal and said that, hey, this work is either not our work, it's an SF5 work, or you are not touching the agenda right. Maybe you are working, let's say if there is a user plane discussion, I was talking about control plane.
Hmm.
So what happened during that, like rejections, or I would say like feedbacks, critical feedbacks. I I kind of developed a way of what they are looking for. So you kind of, as you are going through this process where you are presenting and people are opposing your idea, you have to come up with your game plan, that how do you get to that point where people will be start accepting your message. And
Yes.
that is what happened actually when I was presenting it frequently. I kind of felt that, hey, what is the thing that people are willing to hear it from me, and what areas I should be more focused on. So that is how it got accepted.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That is very important in the sense, in every working group, in every standard body, there is a chemistry and there is a mechanism which is going on. You
Yeah.
have to understand that, and because it's part of a professional body. So in the very first standard meeting when I went, my boss at that time told me, because I was taken to the standard body meeting because I had a solution for a problem which the group was discussing for a couple of meetings,
Hmm.
and my
Hmm.
manager liked the solution, and then he took me there so that we push it in the body. But he told me one thing: Suresh, I know you are a smart guy, you have your own ideas, but for two meetings, don't open your mouth. Then I said, instead, what should I do? You observe. You observe everyone who is talking what, how things move, how things get accepted. Once you understand this, then you propose in such a way so that from based on whatever you learn, whatever you observe. So that initial learning phase is critical. I
True,
mean,
true,
then
true.
only you can make the right proposals, right
Yeah.
propositions, so that everyone get accepted
Yeah, true, true.
and
And
things.
there are two words I would say here. One is relentless. You have to relentless on what you do, and you have to have a good perseverance. You have to
Yes, yes,
keep
correct.
on do grinding, and team management, and come up with everything every time better. This is how you'll succeed. Uh, so the last section, Mr. Suresh, it's been great and fun talking with you. There is a rapid fire section, so I'll ask you a few questions, and you have to
Mhm.
just say if it's a myth or a reality, plus a one line why. Okay. So we'll start with 6G will replace Wi-Fi.
And no, that's a myth.
And why do you think this?
Okay, 6G, the Wi-Fi is already here, and also very wide, worldwide acceptance. So I
Agree,
think that is going to stay.
agree, agree. Okay, telecom will be fully cloud native by 2028.
No, that's a myth again.
Yeah, there's a lot of groundwork needs to be done.
Yes.
I agree. Operators love reading standard stock.
No.
They have now by now they would have created their own AI model who can just
Yes,
give them the
yes.
one liner on this, that hey, what is meant by this, all of this. Got it. Last one. This is good. AI can build a better standards than humans.
I don't think so. It needs a lot of discussion and lot of collaborative work, and as you said, lot of patience. because we are talking about the perception of users and network behavior, network equipment behavior all across the world. So the expectation is very different from, say, Far East to the West Coast in US. Uh, there are a lot of countries, lot of cultures, etc. Lot of business players, a lot of even very basic communication methods and mechanisms. To accommodate that, what we are doing in standard bodies is developing a worldwide uh, standard specifications, and it needs, even to correctly understand the requirements, it may sometimes need a lot of discussion and a lot of patient understanding.
Got it. True. So it's been great having you, Mr. Suresh, and I had a great time with you. And there's a lot of questions and queries which we got the clarification on, and thank you very much for that. Like lastly, any final thoughts you want to share to motivate people how they can end up getting into the career world, into the standards world. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Taha. I also enjoyed this conversation. For the new people who want to enter the standardization, I would say this is an exciting career field, particularly because if you are concerned with the contribution which you make and also the impact is, I would say, much. The impact is everyone in the world is impacted by what you develop. So that is a very fulfilling feeling, I would say,
Got it. True.
seeing your work getting accepted and used by everyone in the world.
True. That is the best thing. I also have observed the same thing, and and that is what gives you that motivation. The like all the career goals and like the positions and the compensations, all those things are the byproduct. But if you are really making a difference in the world, and somebody else is also being impacted by your work, that is what the real motivation is. Yeah. So
Correct.
thank you for sharing that. So
Okay.
that's it from Xecurity Pulse, guys. I'm sure that you have enjoyed the discussion. Please feel free to leave your comments. And Mr. Suresh is like reachable on LinkedIn. He welcomes everybody. And please give me your thoughts or on how did you like this show, and if you have any new topics or new discussions which you want us to cover, please do let us know. Until next time, take a very good care of yourself, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Ta. Thank you, everyone.